Welcome to ThinkRow, where we cover trending news of World Day 1. I am absolutely thrilled to be guiding you through today's explainer because, honestly, we are looking at some incredibly dynamic shifts happening all over the globe right now. We've got major geopolitical movements, some sweeping political shakeups, and a few really urgent global health updates. But I'll let you in on a little secret. We also have newly declassified Pentagon UFO footage to look at today. I know, right? It's completely wild, but we're actually going to save that massive, shocking reveal for the very end of our explainer. So stick around because you definitely won't want to miss what is literally hovering in those files. Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We're going to start things off with global conflicts and tensions. Then we'll move into world leaders and politics, followed by disasters, health, and hazards. After that, we'll lighten things up just a bit with culture, tech, and sports. And finally, Section 5, that highly anticipated Pentagon UFO document dump, serving as our shocking finale. All right, let's dive right into Section 1, global conflicts and tensions. So, we're seeing a really fascinating clash in narratives today regarding Russia and Ukraine. Following an announcement by Donald Trump of a 3-day ceasefire, the reality on the ground appears, well, quite different. Both Russia and Ukraine are now firmly pointing fingers, accusing each other of violating those exact ceasefire terms. And the specific context here is absolutely crucial. Both sides are actually claiming the other is using the violation as a smokescreen to cover the celebrations of the Soviet Union's historical victory over Nazi Germany. It's honestly a stark reminder of how historical events are actively intersecting with modern conflict. Now, these tensions aren't just limited to Eastern Europe. Over in Greece, authorities are currently examining this mystery naval drone found in the Ionian Sea. Reports suggest it carries explosives and could potentially be linked to either Ukraine or the broader Russia-Ukraine war. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, oil prices are already ticking upward after the US and Iran actually exchanged fire in the Strait of Hormuz. And this is all happening despite President Trump insisting that a ceasefire between Washington and Tehran is still in place. And finally, amid all this global tension, Senator Marco Rubio just had a really notable meeting with Pope Leo. This is significant because Pope Leo, the first American pontiff, has been a very firm critic of both a potential war with Iran and the administration's hardline immigration policies. Moving right along, let's pivot over to Section 2, World Leaders and Politics. We are watching power shift rapidly across 4 different continents right now. In Hungary, nearly a month after a massive landslide victory, Peter Magyar and his Tisza party are having a swearing-in that's literally being called a regime change party. They are officially sweeping away 16 straight years of rule by Viktor Orban. Down in South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa is facing serious calls to resign after the Constitutional Court ruled that MPs were wrong to block impeachment proceedings against him. Over in Australia, a critical by-election in New South Wales is serving as a massive litmus test for the right-wing populist One Nation Party. A win there means their very first MP gets into Australia's national parliament. And in India, Suvendu Adhikari, who is a former ally turned biggest rival to Mamata Banerjee, is set to become the next chief minister of West Bengal for the BJP. 4 continents, 4 massive shifts in political power. Staying in Australia for just a second, the country is currently grappling with a deeply complex domestic issue. There's this fierce debate right now over the repatriation of IS-linked families. On one side, you have advocates raising urgent safety warnings. They're arguing that these women and children are currently in immediate danger and absolutely must be brought home. But on the flip side, you have widespread public opposition. Most Australians, having been traumatized by past terror events, are strongly resisting the idea of these families returning. It's a highly polarized debate with incredibly strong emotional arguments coming from both sides. Okay, let's shift our focus to Section 3, disasters, health, and hazards. 3. That is the number of people who tragically lost their lives after hiking up Indonesia's active Mount Dukono volcano today. And what makes this so utterly devastating is that officials had previously issued strict climbing bans and safety warnings specifically because the volcano was active. Sadly, the group ignored those warnings before the mountain suddenly erupted, sending massive plumes of ash high into the sky. It's just a sobering reminder of the raw, entirely unpredictable power of nature. We're also tracking a health scare that is moving incredibly fast across the globe. The UN Health Agency has officially confirmed at least 5 cases of hantavirus originating from the MV Hondias cruise ship. This has triggered a frantic worldwide race to trace passengers, and so far they've linked the outbreak to about 12 different countries. Now, the very end of this timeline is the MV Hondias itself, which is currently approaching Tenerife. As you can imagine, local residents on the Spanish island are feeling a tense mix of anger and resignation, dealing with very real fears that this ship's arrival is going to pose an immediate health risk to their community.
Let's take a quick breath and transition into Section 4, Culture, Tech, and Sports.
First up on the tech front, listen, if you're a student, you are probably feeling this one today. An international cyber attack by a hacking group has breached Canvas. That's the academic software used by thousands of schools and universities globally, and it is causing massive disruptions. Moving to culture, actor Mark Hamill just apologized and deleted a post after the White House officially called him sick for sharing an AI-generated image of Donald Trump in a shallow grave. And in a slightly more unusual story today, there is a literal race against time going on to find a group of escaped bald eagles. And not just any eagles, these are the exact same birds that country music star Dolly Parton famously helped rescue and rehabilitate at Dollywood when they were on the verge of extinction.
We are also seeing some pretty amazing milestones across sports and entertainment. In sports, thousands of runners just celebrated the return of the Palestine Marathon in Bethlehem. This is a big deal since it had a 2-year pause due to the Gaza war. Meanwhile, in China, 22-year-old snooker player Wu Yizhe returned home to an absolute rock star's welcome after becoming the second youngest player ever to win a world title. Over in entertainment, Eurovision is back with a bang. We've got 35 songs ranging from heartfelt ballads to some controversial anti-work anthems, plus an appearance by Boy George. And finally, in lifestyle news, move over matcha. Hojicha, which is this delicious roasted Japanese green tea, is completely taking over the UK right now, popping up in everything from cafe lattes to ice cream.
So, we've covered the Earth, the politicians, the volcanoes, the tea trends. But what about the lights in the sky? I promised you a shocking finale at the very beginning of this explainer, and it is finally time to deliver the goods. Welcome to Section 5, the shocking Pentagon UFOs. Okay, first things first, we need to get our terminology straight. When we talk about UFOs today, the government actually uses the acronym UAP, which stands for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. This is the official label the U.S. government applies to the hovering objects and the flashing lights reported by military personnel and captured in these newly released files. So whenever you hear UAP, just think UFO. So what exactly did they release today? The Pentagon published an absolute treasure trove of data that the UFO community has been heavily scrutinizing all day long. We're looking at newly declassified video clips showing these crafts in motion. We have raw audio recordings of actual pilots reacting in real time to what they're seeing. And we've got official, heavily analyzed transcripts detailing these encounters. It's a massive amount of primary source material that was previously locked away behind top-secret clearances. But here is the most shocking part of this entire release. Despite all this data, the videos, the audio, the highly detailed transcripts of alleged sightings filmed around the world, the official stance of the U.S. government remains this exact quote: they are unable to make a definitive determination. Seriously, with all the advanced technology and state-of-the-art military tracking at their disposal, the government is officially stating on the record that they still cannot definitively explain what these anomalous phenomena actually are. Which leaves us with this final burning thought. The Pentagon has released the files, the videos are out there for anyone to see, but are we any closer to knowing what is actually up there? It's a question that challenges our basic understanding of technology, aerospace, and, hey, maybe even our place in the universe. I highly encourage you to go check out those declassified files for yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I will see you next time.